The first thing you notice is cold. Not the usual subtle shift of morning air on skin. No, this cold cuts sharp and sudden, like metal against bare flesh. You open your eyes. The light is brutal. Gold, sun-washed everywhere, bouncing off vast marble pillars, searing through a canopy of silk. You blink rapidly, heart hammering, breath quickening, before you even know why. And then the weight registers. Heavy, foreign. An ornate breastplate presses against your chest, edges biting your shoulders. Something scratches your scalp, a tight bronze circlet, a smell of oil and dust, musk and sweat. You try to sit up, and that's when the panic claws through you. These aren't your hands. Bronzed, calloused, wiry with sinew, they move with a practiced, unconscious grace you don't own. Your gaze darts down. Leather greaves wrap your shins. A deep crimson cloak spills across the stone floor beneath you. You scramble to your feet. Bad choice. Your knees lock. For a moment, the whole room tilts dangerously. Breathe, breathe. A low murmur draws your attention. Beyond a row of columns, figures stand in a loose formation. Soldiers, no doubt about it. Bronze helmets under their arms, spears upright at their sides. One catches your movement and turns. His brow furrows. "Basilius?" he says softly. You freeze. The word tugs at something half-formed in your mind. "King." Another voice follows. "Alexander." The council waits. Alexander. The name lands like a hammer blow. Alexander the Great. No, this isn't. This can't. You open your mouth, but no words come. Your throat is dry, voice stuck somewhere deep beneath the rising wave of panic. How did I get here? Why this? Why him? But there's no time to dwell. The soldier is waiting, watching too closely now. You force yourself upright. The breastplate feels too tight, every breath shallow. Your feet remember the path before you do. Through arched doors, into a wide hall of blinding white stone. Figures line the room. Advisors, generals, guards. All eyes swing toward you. A gaunt, bearded man in deep blue steps forward. He studies you with unnerving sharpness. "You delayed," he says, voice cool. "A poor omen." You fumble for a response. Nothing comes. Then instinct. You give the faintest nod. Controlled, you hope. Not too fast, not too hesitant. The man's gaze lingers. "Are you well?" Your voice cracks. Gods, it sounds wrong. Deep, rough-edged. Not yours. Not at all. You try again. "I am. Proceed." A thin flicker of skepticism passes through the room. A few exchanged glances. You grip the edge of a stone table to steady yourself. Fingertips brush carved maps, wooden figures, cities, rivers, battle lines. None of it makes sense. The council begins to speak. Reports of restive cities, troop movements, alliances strained thin. You hear the words but can't follow. Inside, your mind races in frantic loops. Where is the real Alexander? How long must I keep this up? What if they test me? A new scroll is placed before you. The man in blue, Parmenion, you recall distantly, leans in. "You must mark it," he says. "Approve the levy." Mark it. Your gaze locks on the stylus he offers. Your hand moves toward it, too stiff, too unsure. You try to recall. Does he write with flair? With economy? The hand shakes slightly. No, steady. You grit your teeth, force the signature onto the parchment. The result looks crude, uneven. A beat of silence. Parmenion narrows his eyes. "Strange stroke, my king. You favor your hand differently today." A spike of terror. You manage a strained smile. Long morning, the arm, stiff. He watches you a second longer, then nods reluctantly. As the council resumes, you fight to control your breathing. One step at a time. Stay bland, say little, listen. But each second here, each new gesture expected of you, is a fresh minefield. When the council adjourns, you stagger back toward the chamber alone. But not alone for long. A slender figure intercepts you in the corridor, a young woman in a flowing blue dress, striking, sharp-eyed. "Alexander," she says softly, stopping you with a gentle hand. "You scarcely looked at me this morning." Your heart jolts. You search wildly for words. She tilts her head. "Are you unwell?" Again, that same question. Too many eyes noticing. You force a breath. "Much to weigh today. Forgive me." A flicker of confusion crosses her face, but she nods. You turn away fast before your face betrays more. Alone again, you reach the inner chamber. Collapse onto a bench, palms slick with sweat. "I can't do this, not for another minute." Yet, footsteps approach. A younger officer now, eager, expectant. "The horse is readied, sire. They await you at the courtyard." Horse? You blink. Of course. Bucephalus, the famed steed. The thought of mounting that war horse in front of a crowd sparks fresh dread. You nod weakly. In the courtyard, dozens await. Soldiers, handlers, nobles. All eyes snap to you as you emerge. Bucephalus towers nearby, snorting, pawing at the stones. You step forward, heart pounding. How did Alexander approach him? Fast, slow, stern, affectionate. No choice but to fake it. You approach with what you hope is calm deliberation, laying a hesitant hand on the great black neck. The horse flinches, sensing your tension. A ripple of murmurs from the watching crowd. You whisper, too low for them to hear. "Easy, please." A stable hand frowns. "He is restless today, sire. You seem unfamiliar." You flash a brittle smile. "We all have restless days." With a desperate breath, you mount. The motions feel foreign, awkward. You barely avoid slipping sideways before settling into the saddle. The crowd watches in expectant silence. You signal to ride. The beast responds, more out of habit than trust. As you circle the courtyard, every muscle screams with strain. You force your posture to match what little you remember. Tall, proud, but inside, your mind spirals. "I can't keep this up. They'll see. They'll know." You guide the horse back, dismount with a graceless thud. A sharp-eyed guard tilts his head. "Strange seat today, my king." Another brittle smile. "A poor night's rest." With that, you retreat fast, chest burning. Back in the chamber, you slam the door shut. Your breath comes in ragged bursts. Hands tremble. The room swims. How? Why? What now? But no answers come, just the weight of bronze on your chest. The unfamiliar hands trembling before your eyes. The knowledge that when next you leave this room, the charade must begin again. You sink against the cold stone wall, drawing in a shaking breath. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. You stand before a tall bronze mirror. It's dull, tarnished in places, but the reflection, too sharp, too foreign, the face staring back at you is not your own. Sharp cheekbones, a hard, commanding gaze you do not yet know how to wield. Hair cropped short, slightly tousled, clear signs a helmet was just removed. You touch your chin. Your hand trembles. How does he usually carry himself? How does he look? How does he even move? No answer. Beyond the door, noise. Muffled voices, the sound of heavy footsteps. Someone coughs. You turn. A young man enters, short but sure-footed. He wears a simple tunic, trimmed with fine gold cord. An advisor? A scribe? He bows. "Sire, the crowd is gathered. They await you on the square." Your body starts moving forward, reflexive, automatic. But inside you are falling. What square? What gathering? The advisor continues. "Today, the public vow. After yesterday, all expect your words." You swallow, say, "What? How?" The advisor tugs lightly at the edge of your crimson cloak. "Come, they are ready." You nod. Every movement feels like a trap. Are you walking too fast? Too straight? Your spine burns with tension. The corridor stretches ahead, long, vaulted, lined with spear-bearing guards in bronze. Their gazes slide over you, respect and expectation. A stray thought surfaces. They expect Alexander, but who are they getting? Step by step, you near the exit. Light ahead blinds. The square hums, a low collective murmur. You step out, and your heart nearly bursts from your chest. Before you, a vast crowd, soldiers, craftsmen, women with children in arms, all watching, all waiting. Ahead, a tall platform. At its center, a pedestal where you must speak. The advisor leans in. Approach the podium with confidence, not too quickly. Remember, you are king. You give a faint nod. Podium, you glance upward. On the platform stands a massive wooden lectern. In front of it, some kind of ancient sound horn. God, I don't even know how he usually begins these speeches. No choice. The crowd waits. You climb the steps, each step a weight in your legs. At the top, the air feels thin. You inhale, short, shallow, then move to the lectern. Below, thousands of eyes. Breathless silence. A voice inside urges, "Don't stall, say something, anything. Simpler is safer." You grip the lectern with both hands to hide the trembling and begin. People. The voice rasps, uncertain. A soft murmur ripples through the crowd. You straighten your back. Force yourself to breathe evenly. Try again, louder. People, I thank you for loyalty, for strength. The phrases feel hollow, too simple, but you have no idea what else to say. In the front row, several people exchange glances. One gray-haired warrior frowns. You swallow dryness, palms slick with sweat. What would he say now? We together will move forward, defeat new enemies. I stand with you. Mixed reaction below. Some clap, others remain silent. The advisor at your side casts a quick glance, clear puzzlement. You step away from the lectern under a strained wave of applause. Descending the steps, your foot catches on the edge. You nearly fall, barely recover in time. The cloak slips from your shoulders. A stifled chuckle rises from the crowd. Brilliant. The king who can't walk down steps. The advisor quickly reaches your side, speaks quietly, head inclined. You seem not yourself today, sire. You force your mouth into something like a tired smile. Long night, the advisor nods, but his eyes gleam with suspicion. Inside, you clench tight. Just a little longer. Don't let them see the fear. They lead you back toward the palace. On the way, a scroll is suddenly extended. A young scribe, clearly nervous. Your approval, sire. You take it mechanically. A treaty inside. Panic. Sign it. How? How does he usually sign? You reach for the stylus, fingers shaking. Under the scribe's watchful gaze, you slowly scrawl an awkward, uneven line. The scribe blinks. Somewhat unusual flourish, my king. You reply coldly, arm still stiff from the wound. The scribe nods, departs, but glances back. At last you reach your chamber alone. The walls seem to press in. You clutch your temples. I can't keep this up much longer. They watch. They sense something's wrong. You raise your gaze to the mirror. Still that same foreign man. But no choice remains. Tomorrow, a new day, and the game begins again. So, and the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. The morning begins with a jolt. You are seated in a narrow chamber, stone walls, thin shafts of light streaming through high slits. A bowl of figs and olives sits untouched before you. The metallic tang of the breastplate lingers on your skin, but you can't eat. You can barely swallow. Your mind turns in circles. They're noticing every word, every glance, more eyes questioning. You replay yesterday's scene over and over. The fumbled words, the awkward descent, the crooked signature. I'm not ready. I can't be him. A knock breaks the spiral. A familiar figure enters. Parmenion, the older general, eyes sharp as ever. The council convenes, reports from Tyre. You rise. Too fast. Your foot catches the low bench. It scrapes loudly across the stone. Parmenion's brow twitches. Careful, sire. You nod stiffly. Of course. Walking the corridor, your steps feel alien. How did Alexander walk? Measured? Swift? You choose the middle. Deliberate but not rushed. Even so, a pair of passing guards glance after you. A hushed word exchanged. At the council chamber, the room bristles with tension. Maps cover the central table. Marked positions. Arrows. You barely register them. Your eyes catch on one corner a silver goblet. Your throat burns dry. You move toward it, fingers curling awkwardly around the stem. The goblet slips. Cold liquid spills across the table. A sharp intake of breath from the room. You snatch it upright, forcing calm. My hand, still recovering, you say flatly. Silence hangs for a beat too long. Then Parmenion speaks. The siege will resume, supplies thin within the walls. You nod. Your voice feels trapped. Finally, you force out. Continue as planned. Parmenion eyes you, expression unreadable. Another voice pipes in, younger, eager. Sire, the scouts await your command at the gates. You freeze. Command, now a breath. You rise. The room watches. Don't falter, just move. You follow the soldier through winding halls to the outer courtyard. Sunlight blinds you as you step out. Rows of cavalrymen await, their mounts restless. In front, a riderless horse stands, sleek, dark-eyed, Bucephalus. You hesitate. The horse shifts, nostrils flaring. A nearby handler frowns. Strange day, my king. He senses something. You force yourself forward, a flat palm against the warm neck. The beast shudders faintly. You whisper, too low for others. Help me through this. A brief stillness, then you climb, graceless again, an awkward swing of the leg. You nearly lose balance. Scattered murmurs from the gathered men. They see it. Every slip, every false move. You lift your chin, voice steady, or so you hope. Ride. The column sets off. The horse beneath you feels barely controlled, sensing your unease. You grip the reins too tightly. Your left foot presses wrong against the stirrup. Another small sign. At the outskirts, scouts gather, lean, sunburnt men. One steps forward. Orders, sire. You blink. The words catch. What would Alexander say? Fast, bold, careful, you gamble. Circle wide, report within 2 hours. No direct engagement. A pause, then a nod. But one scout lingers, head tilted. Forgive me, sire. Your tone today is strange. Illness? A thin smile claws its way to your face. Too little rest. The man hesitates, then salutes. As they depart, you fight the rising wave of panic. You turn the horse back toward the palace. The ride jerky, unsteady. Passing through the gates, a child darts into the path, a flash of linen and limbs. You pull the reins too sharply. Bucephalus rears. Your body sways wildly. You barely cling on. Gasps erupt from the bystanders. Guards rush forward. You land clumsily, boots skidding on the stone. The horse calms only when a handler intervenes. A nobleman approaches, concern in his voice. Sire, you are pale. Are you harmed? You straighten. Too fast. The world tilts slightly. No harm. You wave him off. No further concern. But your voice lacks weight, lacks the steel they expect. Eyes follow you too long as you retreat inside. In your chamber, you collapse onto a low bench. Your breath shakes, hands twitch. This can't go on. Each hour, harder. Each mistake, closer to ruin. But the door creaks again. Parmenion enters, alone. His gaze pins you. "Alexander," he says quietly, "too many strange moments today." Your heart pounds. He steps closer. "I must ask, is there truth you hide?" You force your voice steady. "I carry burdens, some unseen." He watches a moment longer, then, "We all do, but your burdens seem new." A slight bow, he withdraws. You sink deeper against the wall. The mask cracks, the questions grow, and tomorrow waits. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. You wake before the sun, cold stone beneath your cheek, the bronze circlet crooked on your head. Sleep came like a collapse, but no rest followed. Your limbs feel heavier than ever. In the pale dawn light, you rise. Every joint aches. Your mouth tastes of metal. A soft knock at the door. You flinch, too loud, too sharp. The same young scribe enters, carrying a polished wooden case. His gaze flickers over you, noting the disheveled cloak, the bleary eyes. "Sire, the seal for the treaty. They request your mark before the envoy arrives." Treaty, envoy, another performance. You nod stiffly. The scribe sets the case on the table, unclasps it carefully. Inside, a heavy bronze stamp ornately carved, symbols you barely recognize. Beside it, a shallow dish of thick red wax. You reach for the stamp. Fingers brush the handle. Too awkward, too unsure. You hesitate. The scribe notices. "Is your hand still troubled, sire?" You force a thin smile. "A little. I will manage." But the weight of the stamp is wrong in your grip. You feel it tremble slightly. Lowering it toward the wax, your hand wavers, the motion jerky. The stamp tips, too soon. Hot wax splashes across the edge of the document. A dark smear where precision was needed. The scribe gasps softly. You snatch the stamp back, heart racing. "My hand," you mutter. Another attempt. But the document is ruined. The scribe hesitates, then bows low. "I will prepare a new parchment." As he withdraws, the weight in your chest deepens. Another mistake, another scar on the mask. You pace the room, breath shallow. A deeper knock this time. Parmenion enters, flanked by a tall envoy in dark robes, face stern, eyes sharp. "The Tyrian envoy, sire." No time to recover. You straighten, force your legs to carry you forward. The envoy bows. "We come in peace," he says evenly, but your response must be clear. A scroll is offered. You take it. Too fast, the parchment crinkles awkwardly in your grip. You scan it blindly. Words swim, tribute, surrender. Terms. They expect Alexander's fire, his razor-sharp will. You feel only fog. You stall. Seconds stretch. The envoy's gaze narrows. "You are silent king?" You summon your voice, rough, uncertain. "I consider deeply." The terms weigh heavily. A faint crease appears at the envoy's mouth. Not quite a smile. You know he senses it. Weakness, doubt. Parmenion's eyes flick toward you, searching. Desperation claws higher. You speak again, firmer this time. "We accept no chains lightly, nor do we yield to soft words." A flicker of relief in Parmenion's gaze. The envoy's expression hardens. Then conflict remains. You incline your head. It does. The envoy withdraws, footsteps sharp. You sink into the nearest seat as soon as they're gone. Parmenion lingers, his voice low. You faltered. The envoy smelled it. Your mouth opens, then closes. No defense will sound true. Instead, the weight, it presses harder. Parmenion's gaze sharpens. A king does not speak of weight, and with that, he leaves. Alone again, your breath shudders. You rise, hands trembling, and move to the mirror. The reflection is worse than before. Eyes too wide, shoulders hunched. You force them straight, but the cracks are spreading. You turn and too fast. Your foot catches the edge of a stool. It topples with a harsh clatter. Outside the door, a passing servant pauses. Is all well, sire? You force a steadier voice. A misstep. Leave me. Silence. Then footsteps recede. You crouch to right the stool, fingers clumsy, shaking. I'm losing the rhythm, losing the mask. Your breath comes rough. You force it slower. One step at a time, one lie at a time. But each hour costs more, and soon there will be no cover left. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. You do not eat. You cannot. The morning meal sits untouched. Grapes shrivel beneath the weight of time. Bread hardens. Your body moves like a thing dragged from the depths. Joints stiff, breath shallow. You dress with shaking hands. The bronze breastplate feels heavier than ever. The cloak itches at your neck. Your mind circles one truth. I am nearing collapse. They are nearing certainty. A sharp knock breaks the thought. Parmenion enters without waiting. His face is carved from stone today. No warmth, no patience. Word has spread, he says flatly. Rumors, whispers. You stand too quickly. The breastplate shifts, throwing you off balance. You catch the table beside you, a jarring scrape of wood on stone. Parmenion's gaze sharpens. There is talk of strange behavior, of weakness, of possession. Your breath locks. Possession. The word hits too close. You force a voice out, rough-edged. Soldiers always gossip. Let them. But the lie rings hollow. Parmenion steps closer. This cannot continue. Today, you must appear in full command, or the ranks will break. You swallow. How? He gestures sharply. You will address the phalanx at noon, on the field, before the officers. No place to hide, no time to prepare. You nod once. It will be done. Parmenion studies you, eyes narrowing. See that it is. He leaves in silence. You collapse onto the nearest seat. Noon, no escape, no mask left. Time shrinks, breath quickens. You stare at the mirror. The face stares back, drawn, pale beneath the bronze. You pace, force yourself to rehearse words, but they sound wrong, hollow. Your voice trembles, hands sweat. This cannot be done. Yet the sun climbs too fast. Soon they come for you. 2 guards in full armor. You walk between them, legs unsteady. The field spreads wide before you, a sea of bronze and leather. Thousands of soldiers, shields gleaming. A platform awaits. You climb it slowly, too slowly. Eyes turn toward you. Hundreds, thousands, expectant, hungry. Parmenion stands at the front, watching, measuring. You grip the edge of the platform. Breath shallow, the noise dies. Silence falls. Now, your voice fights to emerge. You have served with honor, you begin. The words feel brittle. You force your shoulders back. The enemy weakens. Victory is near. But only with steel and fire, with unwavering heart. A ripple through the ranks, uncertain. You sense it. You try again. We march as one. Doubt has no place here. Too thin, too strained. A murmur grows. You scan the crowd, eyes narrowing, seeing doubt reflected. Parmenion steps forward suddenly. His voice cuts the air. The king speaks, yet words alone are not enough. He turns to you, gaze piercing. Show them your resolve, Alexander. Take the spear. Lead the charge tomorrow. A trap, an ultimatum. You cannot refuse. Not here, not now. But to lead a charge? In this body you barely control? The silence stretches. You grip the edge tighter, knuckles white. Then force your voice out, low but steady. I will ride, I will lead, at dawn. A roar erupts, relief, approval, yet beneath it, the seed of terror. You step down, too fast. You stumble on the last step. A soldier reaches out instinctively. Are you well, sire? You force a smile, brittle, a misstep. But your heart hammers. You know the truth. Tomorrow the mask will shatter, or you will. And the breath becomes longer. allowing thoughts to settle. The night offers no refuge. You pace the chamber like a caged beast. The bronze circlet weighs on your brow. Outside, torches gutter in the wind. Inside, shadows creep along stone walls. Your mind pounds with one thought. Tomorrow, I cannot ride, I cannot fight, yet you must. The ultimatum binds you, seen by too many eyes, sealed by too many voices. You grip the edge of the window. Below, the courtyard lies empty. A plan stirs, not clear, not certain, but something. If I cannot be him, I must be something else. I must make them believe another way. You dress before dawn, no breastplate, no heavy cloak, just a simple tunic, belt tight at your waist. When they come for you, 2 guards, eyes wary, they pause. Sire, your armor? You meet their gaze, calm, deliberate. Not today. The king leads with heart first. They exchange a glance, but one nods. As you command. The field swells with bodies. The army waits. Horses snort, restless. Your mount stands ready, Bucephalus, towering, powerful. Parmenion approaches, brows drawn tight. Alexander, no armor. Are you mad? You hold his gaze, voice low. Let them see courage, not bronze. He steps back, uncertain. But already word spreads. The king rides unarmored. You mount, this time slower, measured. The crowd watches, breath held. You guide Bucephalus forward, one hand loose on the reins, the other raised. Brothers, you shout, voice clear now. The enemy doubts us, they think us soft. Today, we show them steel of the spirit. A murmur rises, you press on. I lead with no shield, no plate, for faith alone guards me. The roar that follows stuns you. A tide of voices, spears raised. Yet your hands tremble on the reins. You ride past the ranks, face set, but as you turn back, disaster strikes. A loose strap, unnoticed, tangles your foot. You shift, the saddle jerks. Bucephalus rears sharply. You fall, not far, but hard. Gasps split the air. A rush of footsteps, soldiers closing in. Parmenion reaches you first. Sire, you rise too fast, blood pounding. No harm, you bark, voice iron. You face the crowd, breath ragged. Even a king stumbles, but he rises. A beat, then another cheer, but Parmenion's eyes narrow. You gamble too high, Alexander, he says quietly. You grip his arm briefly. High stakes win great wars. You stride away, legs shaking, head spinning. Behind you, the murmurs grow. Some see a bold king. Others see a man barely holding the mask. In your chamber again, you collapse onto the bench. Your breath comes in shallow bursts. I bought a day, no more. But tomorrow, the cracks widen. The eyes grow sharper. And inside, the doubt deepens. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. The mask has begun to slip. You feel it with every step now. In the wary eyes of guards, the hushed voices beyond pillars. Yet somehow you survived the day. The bold ride, the fall, all twisted into a tale of courage, for now. But your limbs ache, your throat burns with held words. You pace the chamber in restless circles. Outside the palace quiets, torches burn low, yet your mind sharpens. A blade whetted by fear. I cannot keep this up. I must find a way out, a clue, anything. And then a knock, soft, barely audible. You freeze. Another knock, 2 this time, cautious, deliberate. You open the door a crack. A hooded figure stands there, slight, unfamiliar. She holds out a sealed tablet. For your eyes and yours alone. No title, no name, no signature. She vanishes before you speak. Heart pounding, you close the door. The seal bears a strange mark, one you do not know. You break it with trembling fingers. Inside, a small slate. Faint script etched carefully. You are not him, but you are not alone. Watch the mirror tonight. You stare. Breath trapped in your chest. Someone knows. You whirl toward the mirror. but see only the weary face you wear. What does it mean? Who sent this? A rush of panic fights with thin hope. You set the slate aside, pace again. Hours pass. The moon rises high. At last, you sit before the mirror. Candles gutter low. The chamber breathes silence. Minutes stretch, muscles tense, then movement. A flicker deep in the glass. You lean forward, breath shallow. For a moment, not your face. Another, pale, gaunt, eyes wide with terror. A man, unfamiliar, mouthing words you cannot hear. Then, gone. Your own reflection stares back. You reel. The real Alexander, a prisoner, a warning. The slate's words echo. You are not alone, but no more comes. Only questions. And one truth, the mask is thinner than ever. Soon it will shatter, and the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. Dawn breaks gray. You sit by the cold hearth, the sealed slate resting in your palm. Sleep never came. How could it? The vision from the mirror still claws at your thoughts. That man, pale, desperate, mouth-forming words you could not catch. If he is the true Alexander, then where is he? How? Why me? No answers come, only deeper silence. The palace stirs beyond your door. Voices rise, soldiers readying for inspection, messengers hurrying past. You remain seated, breath shallow, mind torn. You cannot flee, nor can you fully play this role much longer. The mask frays with each passing hour. The slate's message burns in your thoughts. You are not alone, but no second sign arrives. The mirror remains stubbornly blank, your own tired eyes staring back now. Mid-morning, a young page knocks. Sire, the council calls for you. You force your body upright, limbs sluggish, skull thick with dread. The hall feels longer today. Columns loom like specters. When you enter the chamber, Parmenian's gaze finds you at once. Too sharp, too cold. Others shift uneasily. A scroll lies open before them. Urgent news, Parmenian says flatly. An envoy rides from the east, claims urgent knowledge of your condition. Your throat locks. Condition. The word scrapes like a blade. They bring a healer, he continues, at your request. Your heart jolts. You requested no such thing. You manage a dry voice. Remember no such order. A long pause. Too long. Parmenian's gaze pierces deeper. Perhaps it was sent in haste, or by another hand. You nod faintly, no other choice. But dread coils tighter. A trap, a test, someone moving behind the scenes. You barely hear the next reports. Numbers, supplies, troop movements. Every word echoes dull and distant. At last, the council ends. You retreat quickly, almost stumbling into the corridor. But the pace betrays you. A young captain intercepts. You seem unwell today, sire. May I summon aid? You steady yourself against the cold stone. No, I require solitude. He hesitates, then bows, steps away slowly, watching. You press on, deeper into the palace, toward one place untouched by the mask, the library. Inside, cool shadows, endless scrolls. You move like a wraith between the shelves. No guards here, no questioning eyes. You scan titles blindly, as if answers might lie among them. But nothing speaks. You sink into a low bench, palms sweat, pulse pounds. The envoy comes, the council watches, the trap tightens. A thin whisper of thought rises. I must understand before they unmask me fully. Yet the hours bleed away. No second message, no further sign from the mirror, only silence. When evening falls, you return to your chamber, slower now, body heavier, mind hollow. You light no candles. Sit before the dark glass and wait, but the surface holds only your own weary face now. The fire burns low to ash, your breath slows, the stillness deepens, and inside, a cold emptiness spreads. and the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. You walk, no guards beside you, no council to face. Only a corridor, long, empty, stone cold beneath your feet. Each step echoes louder than the last. You told the guards you needed solitude, a walk to clear your thoughts. They believed you, or pretended to. The message from the mirror haunts you still. The envoy draws near, and the mask you wear grows thinner by the hour. You walk because standing still means drowning. The corridor stretches ahead, a ribcage of ancient marble and shadow. No windows here, just flickering torchlight. Your boots scuff faintly with each step, and with each step, a question repeats, "Who am I?" At first, the mind recoils, the panic reflex, but the question returns, slower this time, insistent. "Who am I?" You clutch no memories before waking here, no anchor to the body you once called your own. You only know this. You are not Alexander. The mirror proved it. The voice inside still screams it, yet here you walk, in a body that commands armies, in a face that sparks both loyalty and fear. You round a corner, another corridor unfolds, this one dimmer. The air here tastes of old dust and iron. Another thought follows the first. Am I trapped here forever? The slate's words rise again. You are not alone, but who wrote them? Why help? And if you are not Alexander, is he still alive? If so, where? And why this exchange? Your pace slows, breath shallows. The stone beneath your fingers feels rough, ancient. You pause, lean against the cold wall, eyes close. The question grows louder. Am I still me, or am I becoming him? Each forced speech, each false gesture, they blur the edges. You catch yourself moving like him now, in small ways, standing taller, gesturing sharper, a reflex born of survival. But with each new mimicry, a sliver of self seems to slip away. You open your eyes. The corridor seems longer still. You push off the wall, walk on, step after step, breath after breath. The mind spins again. If I find the truth, what then? Can I return? Or must I learn to wear this skin forever? You shudder. A faint sound pulls you from the spiral, a soft scuff ahead. You freeze. A servant rounds the corner, young, eyes wide. He startles to see you alone. "Forgive me, sire. I did not expect." You cut him off with a weary gesture. "Go." He bows deeply, retreats fast. You watch until his shadow fades, then walk again, slower now, each step deliberate. Your thoughts turn darker. If I am to stay, how long until I am caught? How long before the council moves? The envoy may expose you. Parmenion may already suspect, and beneath it all, the mirror offers no guidance tonight, only questions, only emptiness. You reach the end of the corridor. A tall door bars the way. You do not open it. Instead, you turn and begin the long walk back. The echo of your steps, the only voice now. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. You sit alone in the chamber. The envoy arrives tomorrow. The noose tightens with each breath. Your body aches from the long walk. Your mind whirls with the same endless spiral. I am not him, but if not, who still watches? The mirror remains cold, blank. You light a single candle. Its flame sways with each unsteady breath. The slate lies beside you, untouched since that first night. A foolish hope whispers. Perhaps another message may come. You touch its edge, hesitant, and then sound, not loud, faint, a dry scrape. You lean forward, heart leaping. A new line appears, slowly etched across the slate's surface. You watch, breath frozen, as the words form. Listen, the truth is near. Play this when you are alone. Below the script, a small metal stud emerges, glowing faintly. You hesitate, then press it. The slate warms beneath your palm. A voice fills the chamber, ragged, desperate. Your breath catches. "I am Alexander," it says. The voice matches the face you wear, but there is no strength now, no fire. I am trapped beyond the veil. My captors seek a vessel. The sound falters. Static creeps in. You strain closer. They pulled you here. A stranger caught in my place. You must... Another burst of static. Then one last line. Voice fading to a whisper. Find the scholar. He knows the path. Silence. The slate cools. The glow fades. You sit motionless. It was real. He is real. Your breath trembles. Someone tore you from your life. Someone seeks to use Alexander's body. For what? And a scholar holds the key. But who? Where? You rise, pacing the chamber in sharp turns. The council watches. Parmenion waits. The envoy comes. And now, a single thread in the dark. The slate gives no more. The mirror stays silent, but the words burn bright. Find the scholar. You stop before the door. Tomorrow the game continues, but now you have a new goal. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. You move through the palace like a shadow. No guards accompany you. You requested solitude again. Claiming the envoy's arrival requires contemplation. In truth, your mind burns with one goal. Find the scholar. But who is he? Where do you begin? You turn a corner and nearly collide with Hephaestion. His gaze sharpens instantly. Alexander, he says, voice low. You vanish. You stumble. Now you drift alone. What sickness eats you? You falter. Words tangle in your throat. He steps closer. Speak, my king, or trust dies. You meet his gaze, and for a heartbeat, you break. Not fully, but enough. You lower your voice to a whisper. I carry a weight unseen. I walk, with a foreign shadow. He stiffens. What does this mean? You force calm into your voice. Each word slow, deliberate. I cannot say more. Yet know this. I seek to right what is wrong. A long silence. He studies your face, searching. Then softly. I trust you still. But be wary. Others watch. You nod once. A fragile pact formed. Hephaestion steps back. If aid is needed, seek me. Then he's gone. You breathe again. Shallow, shaking, the mask cracked, but not shattered. Now, the search must begin. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. Morning comes heavy. You rise with the words, find the scholar burning through your veins. Yet each hour traps you deeper. Servants bustle in and out, garments prepared, council summoned, and at midday the envoy arrives. You stand in the grand hall, pulse racing beneath the bronze circlet. The envoy enters, robed, eyes sharp with knowing. You force stillness into your limbs. He bows. Great king, I bring a gift from the Eastern scholars, a device to ease your counsel. A silver box is presented, intricate, strange. You nod. It shall be inspected. But when you reach for it, disaster strikes. Your fingers tremble. The box slips. A sharp crack splits the air. Corner of the device breaks clean off, sliding across the marble floor. The envoy stiffens. Whispers ripple through the hall. You force a dry laugh. The mind outpaces the hand today. A thin smile hides your panic. But Parmenion watches too closely. Later, alone in your chamber, you examine the broken piece. Inside, markings, symbols unfamiliar. You press the shard between your palms. One more fracture, one more sign. You whisper to the air, I must find him before the mask collapses. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. The palace quiets as dusk falls. You retreat again to the library, not to read, but to watch, to learn. The scholar, still faceless, nameless, but you cannot waste another day. If you must remain inside this skin, even for a time, you must master it. You find an unused study chamber, small, cool mirrors lining one wall. A servant sets a basin of water nearby. You wait until the footsteps fade, then lock the door. You sit before the largest mirror, Your own reflection stares back, no longer entirely strange, but no less foreign. You begin slowly. First, the hands. You flex them, palms up, palms down. Study each tendon, then gestures, the royal wave, the sharp command. You've seen Alexander use them in court. Now you force your fingers to mimic the flow. Awkward at first, then smoother. Next, the walk. You rise, step before the mirror, too stiff, too fast, you slow, shift your weight to match what you've seen. Shoulders back, head high, steps measured. The image sharpens, still an echo, not yet the original, but closer. You repeat the ritual, again, again. Hours pass unnoticed. When you pause, breath heaving, your shirt clings damp to your skin. You pour water from the basin over your face. It runs cold along your cheeks, grounding you. And in that moment, the thought returns. I am not him, but I must move like him, for now. One more breath, one more look in the glass. The reflection nods, not perfect, but perhaps enough to survive tomorrow. The body reaches its limit before the mind will admit it. You know this now. The scholar remains unseen. The mask grows heavier by the hour. And tonight, you feel it breaking. Your limbs move stiffly as you cross the chamber. Each muscle aches from too many hours spent mimicking gestures, practicing speech, walking the same lines. Even your breath comes rougher now, shallower. Parmenian's words haunt you still. Too many strange moments, Alexander. Soon he will no longer ask. He will act. You pace, then sit, then rise again. The restless spiral continues until your legs give out beneath you. You slump to the floor beside the low couch, chest heaving. No more. Just a moment. Just one. You drag yourself up, muscles trembling. No grand words tonight. No rituals. No practice. Only this. Collapse. You sink onto the couch, arms limp at your sides. The bronze circlet slips from your brow. You let it fall. The chamber tilts and sways, but still, no sleep yet. Not until the thoughts burn themselves out. I have worn this body thin, and still the scholar hides. The real Alexander remains trapped, and you do not finish the thought. The words tangle and fade. Breath slows, muscles release. A strange peace steals through the exhaustion. If they come now, so be it. You can fight no more tonight. The body rests, the mind follows, at last. And the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. The knock comes before dawn. 3 soft raps, measured, intentional. You jolt upright on the couch. Every muscle screams in protest. Your mouth is dry as stone. But the knock comes again. You force your legs beneath you, cross to the door. When you open it, no guard stands there. Only a figure in a scholar's robe, hood low. The voice is quiet, firm. You seek me. Your heart lurches. No time to question. You step aside. The scholar enters. Movements precise, deliberate. No bow, no false courtesy. He studies you, eyes flicking over your face, your stance. You are not the king, he says softly, but you are, aware. You manage a hoarse whisper. Yes. He nods once. I cannot break the spell alone, but I can guide you. You swallow hard. What must I do? His gaze sharpens. You must release the hold your mind has shaped upon this body. Accept the uncertainty. Only then can the exchange be undone. The words land heavy. Release. Let go of the fragile grip you've built. You close your eyes. A breath in, a breath out. The scholar speaks again. Lie down, still your thoughts. The body must rest fully. The mind must drift. You obey. Move to the couch. Joints stiff, breath unsteady. The scholar places a thin strip of woven cloth over your brow. Now, let go. You fight the instinct to resist, but the exhaustion pulls stronger. Thoughts scatter. The mask fades. You feel the foreign weight of the body loosening. Fingers numb, chest light. One last thought flickers through the fading dark. Will I return? Will I remember? No answer comes, only breath, deepening, slower, quieter, until even breath is thoughtless, and all that remains is silence, and the breath becomes longer, allowing thoughts to settle. Silence shelters you, and the plot dissolves.